when they realize that Zohran Mamdani's solutions are absurd, it's going to actually cost them more.
Yeah.
When, these women are being chased around by homeless guys in the street because he won't enforce the law.
They think that Mamdani is going to make things cheaper for them.
When you put it into practice, it doesn't work.
Charlie, you broke a very interesting story about, some might say cancel culture, others might say consequence culture. Somebody getting fired for writing a very opinionated email to everyone at their company about Zohran Mamdani.
He's the vice chairman, I think, of the New York office. I think that's his exact title. His name is Scott Panzer. He's probably the best rainmaker at JLL, which is a big global commercial real estate firm. And, we unpacked the story. I did speak to Panzer at the Post. We were the first news outlet to get the interview with him because it's very interesting. Mamdani gets elected on Tuesday. He gets this email from his boss, the New York office guy, and he says, we should give Mamdani a chance, Zohran Mamdani, the mayor-elect. And so Panzer says, listen, history is, I'm paraphrasing a bit, but not too much, history has showed us that when you coddle people like this, bad stuff happens. Remember what happened in Germany. And then he went on to talk about in the 1930s, and then he went on to talk about, listen, Mamdani's the first the first Muslim mayor, has not renounced
globalized the Intifada.
He said he wants to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu if he came here. So he said, listen,
tell Hamas to lay down their weapons. Yeah.
And when he got back in, they fired him. And I interviewed him. I said, why did you go there? And listen. He's a very smart guy. He's a very good. He does not have to work have an association with JL. He does lose his client per the brokerage agreement. But he said, listen, I want to start a conversation. The business community, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, should not be acquiescing to this lunatic. And I think he makes a good point. And, I went back and looked at JLL. Just AI it. JLL, do they do city business with New York City? And you could see why.
AI is officially mainstream. You just said, instead of Google something, you said AI it.
Yeah, AI it, right?
Wow.
Because it's worth.
This is a seminal moment in the history of technology.
Especially for someone like me, the troglodyte like me. So you will get all this business that JLL does with the city. So this isn't like JLL. JLL told him his email was not comporting with company policies theoretically.
But it's interesting. They could have suspended him. They could have said, take a vacation unpaid for a month.
They tried to conflate what they would say is inappropriate language, maybe Islamophobic language.
He said it was akin to the rise of Hitler, right? He did liken.
No, he didn't say. Okay. He didn't mention the word Hitler. He said this is what happened in Germany. But let me make this point because it's clear. They basically told him this email could be interpreted as Islamic phobia. My view is it's less that and more about the city, their business interests with City Hall, not at Mamdani. And so that's where I think this gets really interesting. Now, Scott Panzer is going to be fine. He makes a lot of money. He sold a business recently, I hear.
One thing, though, that I've been seeing over the last week, obviously a lot of West Village girls who are celebrating with ordering matcha and taking extra Pilates classes because they think
Why is that just in the West
Village? They think
that
Mamdani is going to make things cheaper for them. I think they're in for a rude awakening. But it has gotten to a bigger point about the youth and socialism and whether the free market and capitalism is still something that is going to be wanted here in America. And in a now viral email that was written in 2020 and resurfaced in the wake of Zohran Mamdani winning, Peter Thiel discussed the pro-socialism bent in the younger generations, and he said, quote, "Younger generations are told that if they do the same things as the boomers did, things will work out well for them. But society has changed very drastically, and it doesn't work in quite the same way. The gap between the expectations boomer parents had for their kids and what these kids were actually able to do is extraordinary." I do think there's something to be said, and I think everyone's trying to grapple with the word affordability and how the GOP can kind of offer solutions, and whether now essentially we're just going to be embracing big government to offer the solutions. Trump in the last week has unveiled a 50-year mortgage as sort of a way to make housing more affordable.
Trump is not an ideologue.
He's not an ideologue. Yeah, I think that's a good thing because he comes up with a lot of solutions. Some of them work, some of them don't.
40-year mortgage. Who's going to make? What bank is going to do? Was it 40 or 50?
50.
Not that 50. It matters. No bank does a 50-year mortgage unless the government guarantees.
Well, exactly.
I will say this: when they realize that Zohran Mamdani's, solutions are absurd. It's going to actually cost them more.
Yeah.
When, these women are being chased around by homeless guys in the street because he won't enforce the law. The point is, when you put it into practice, it doesn't work. For example, when does limiting the supply of something lead to lower prices? It never does.
I mean, look, so I think there's a couple things. One, I totally agree. I mean, I think things are going to get a lot more expensive because Mamdani wants more government intervention. People aren't going to be building and developing real estate at the same rate that they were before.
Here.
Exactly. But of course, all of that takes years and years to sort of feel the long-term effects of. I think we will see short-term effects. But I guess my concern is that now it seems like government has continued to get bigger and bigger and bigger, right? It keeps growing. Under LBJ, all of these new social programs have been unveiled. And I don't know if anybody at this point is going to stand up and say, no, we need less government intervention.
Well, we are
right? We were talking about SNAP benefits. No one said, oh, no, we need fewer people on SNAP.
Well, we should point out that Trump is not a conservative. I mean, just let's lay it out there from an economic standpoint. He is not. If you look at the type of spending that he engaged in during the latter stages of his first term, when COVID was essentially running its course, he was ramping up spending dramatically. This is a guy that listen, he wants to hand out $2,000 checks, I believe, to everybody for the tariffs that have made no dent in, so that's the tariff benefit he says he's getting. It made no dent in the budget deficit. Yes, he's going to give people checks. He is a mixture. He always has been. It's why conservatives for years have been very skeptical of MAGA economics. It's been a mixture of, big government, some degree of socialism, a high degree of nationalism. Listen, we can argue, is he net better than, for market type people than Kamala Harris? Yes, I would say so.
But he's practical. He's not an ideologue. So I do think...
he's not practical, because if he was practical, he would not have done the tariffs. Trust me on this. That was literally the worst move you could do.
But he walked back. I mean, the initial proposal clearly...
Okay, so he went here, and now he's here.
He walked it back.
Listen, you
because
can't have
he saw
two
the
things.
Impact.
Think about this. His economic policy has been this. Extend the Trump tax cuts, right, and tariffs. That's it. So the economy has really not gotten anything new that's positive, that's a boost. And then here's what the interesting thing about the tariffs. If you do deportations, that's inflationary. If you have tariffs, that's inflationary. Pick one. He did both. And that's why we have inflation above the rate right now.
So Charlie, I guess question for you then. Do you think that Peter Thiel is right, as 70% of young people flirt with socialism? Do you think we can move away from that? Because again, no one wants, once you have perks from the government, you never want less of them. You always want more. So I don't know if we can sell
a lot of these young people,
the free market in the same way.
Listen, these are the sons and daughters of rich people who are used to a certain lifestyle and are now, with their fine arts degree from NYU, are demanding it in the highest cost place in the world, which is New York City.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something there. Listen.
Well, and that's what Alex Karp said.
To mediate that.
Is, again, it's this group of people
Who's he, again?
He's the CEO of Palantir.
Oh, okay.
He basically said the liberal arts grads are angry that people who are doing welding and real services are making more money than they are.
When I was a kid, I made pretty good money. I worked with a construction crew, and we would go into these lots, and we'd chop the trees down and put them in a wood chipper. And then I went at night to cover the Peekskill Community Council meeting for a local newspaper. But you know what? I got through. I saved a ton of money. And I went to University of Missouri, and I didn't have to really take out any loans.
But at the same time, okay, to put our final point here, and I'm curious to get your thoughts, universal basic income. Now, this has been something that's been floated. Andrew Yang was a big proponent of this when he ran, right? It's interesting because, in a way, when you talk about affordability and food stamps and all these things, instead of piecemeal giving people money for specific things, you give them $1K or whatever a month. And the thinking is that it enables them, you can't use food stamps to fix your car. So if you need the cash and you're really strapped, you use that to fix your car and you go to get a better job. That's the thinking behind it. And I think there's some logic.
This is not a solution to the problem. It'll make the problem worse because, first off, this is the country that, if it was a company, we'd be bankrupt. That's the point of making it. That's in wicked deficit mode right now. We have For all the ballyhoo about how much the tariffs have brought in, we still have a nearly $2 trillion budget deficit.
Wow.
I mean, that's insane. That's historically high. That's something like 140% of GDP. I mean, that's just so nuts.
Elon Musk got a pretty impressive pay package. Now, first, I just need to say, because everyone, it's such an easy punching bag to be like, oh my gosh, Elon's so rich and he's going to get $1 trillion. This isn't fair. I mean, the hoops he has to jump through for him to get that would be insane. Like, it would benefit shareholders so much.
He has benefited shareholders.
Right, and the pay packages before, they always agree to it because they're like, there's no way that this is humanly possible. There's no way he can meet these benchmarks. And then he does, and it's great for everyone.
So that thing to be the head of AMC Theaters, I remember I covered this story a lot, who actually paid himself
a decent amount of money.
He paid himself a lot because, yeah, it actually became a meme stock.
Yeah, but think what
happened.
And
now, I mean, it's not doing so well. But a lot of meme investors buy high, sell low.
And these guys bought.
And Adam Aron was the beneficiary of that. Yeah.
And they were, by the way, AMC now is worth 24 cents on the dollar last I checked. That's if you
Great
factor
popcorn.
in
Great popcorn.
24 cents. This is after the reverse. They did a reverse split where it says $2.40, but it's worth the equivalent of 24 cents because it was a 10-40. It's one thing to be a guy that basically delivers almost no shareholder
Creates
value.
no value.
Right?
Yeah.
No shareholder value.
Yeah.
I mean, he creates
I'm sure
value.
he's a great guy, nice person.
Yeah, and by the way, he kept the
Good
company.
father.
He kept the company going. I mean, I don't know, but I'm just saying you can make a case that he created value, but not shareholder value. Elon has created tremendous shareholder value, and he pays himself. So it's hard to really. I mean, the metrics that we are that if you believe in capitalism, and if you're not Zohran Mamdani, you believe that the metric is what do you return to the shareholder, and by that metric, Elon, because that's who he works for, did a great job, and plus, he's big into AI. Did you know that?
Doesn't he?
Grok, I think it's
Grok
called.
is, AI.